Can't believe I almost got hit on by a creep right before dying, trying to make a move while I am still warm, huh? This man is named Yun Qingqiu. He was originally the strongest immortal venerable of the top sect in the cultivation world. Right now, he is undergoing his tribulation. Just one last lightning bolt, and he could achieve unity and ascend to godhood. But now, his mind is filled with distracting thoughts. He has lost all interest in becoming an emperor god. Instead, he wants to return to his youth and spend his days with beautiful girls. Feeling that the higher realm is not worth it, he leaps up. Feeling that the higher realm is not worth it, he leaps up. He charges toward the heavenly thunder above, followed by a deafening boom. When he wakes up again, he finds himself in the water, feeling utterly confused. Pairs of snowy white long legs enter his field of vision. The sound of giggling and playful banter drifts over. He sees two girls hugging each other intimately. The sight makes his blood boil, and he can't stop his nose from bleeding. He can't help but keep watching, savoring the view. At that moment, one of the girls seems to notice something is wrong. The spring water nearby keeps bubbling up. She thinks it is a monster lurking in the spring. He could not hold his breath any longer, and as soon as he surfaced, the girls screamed, calling him a pervert. With a whistle, a sword comes flying straight at him. It stops only a centimeter away from his most precious part. Terrified, he yells, "Wait, mercy, spare me." The girl shouts angrily, "You shameless pervert, how dare you peep at us while we are bathing? Do you want me to skin you alive?" A cute big-eyed girl next to her says, "Senior sister, he is so cute. Do you really have the heart to hurt him?" Yun Qingqiu screams internally, "I am a mighty immortal venerable, and these low-level cultivators call me cute." Single quote. He quickly explains, "Fairies, you have got it all wrong." But the girl won't listen, and tries to capture him immediately. Startled, he turns and bolts. A flying sword flashes by, slicing his clothes right off. The girl shouts, "Run again, and I won't even leave you your underwear." Suddenly, the water behind them erupts. A demonic serpent leaps out from the water. One of the girls charges at the serpent, while shouting, "Oh no, it is a rank 4 beast, we are no match for it. I will hold it back, you guys go get help." The beast breathes fire, knocking the girl down and leaving her unconscious and heavily injured. Just as the beast is about to finish her off, Yun Qingqiu quickly saves her and moves her to safety. He says calmly, "How dare you try to kill someone in front of a mighty immortal venerable? It seems you are tired of living." He clenches his fist and unleashes a flurry of Ma-style kung fu. The demonic serpent roars in frustration. "You human cultivator, no honor, sneak attacking an old snake like me." As it turns out, he forgot to hold back, and the snake was smashed to smithereens. He turns to look at the unconscious girl, staring at her alluring figure. Yun Qingqiu wonders if he should take advantage while she is still warm. Then he takes advantage by breathing immortal qi into her to heal her wounds. Looking at her fair, smooth skin after she is healed, he thinks, repaying a life-saving debt with her body would not be too much to ask, right? But then he thinks, if the world finds out a mighty immortal venerable is a lecherous old man. Single quote. How could I ever show my face again? Single quote. So, he decides to get out of there while the getting's good. How did I get tired after running only a few hundred miles after my tribulation? Suddenly seeing his reflection in the river, he asks himself 3 questions. Who is this? Why do I look like a teenager? What the hell is going on? Just then, a rustling sound comes from behind. An innocent-looking girl appears and says, "Qingqiu, come home with me." He is actually being questioned about his poor potential. What could turn a mighty immortal venerable into a weak boy who gets exhausted after a few steps? Just a moment ago, a girl called him to go home. Memories of this body's original owner flood his mind. It turns out Yun Qingqiu and Ling Xiaoya were childhood sweethearts. But while picking herbs on the mountain, they encountered a fox demon. His yang energy was completely drained, and he died. And that is when the soul of the immortal venerable transmigrated into Yun Qingqiu's body. Yun Qingqiu is full of doubt. He had already reached the spirit-severing stage, so why did not he ascend? Why is he here? But his cultivation is still there, and most importantly, he is young again. This feels pretty damn good. Plus, there is a beautiful girl who can cook by his side. Looking at the virtuous girl next to him, he thinks, in a few years, the cultivation world will have one more peerless fairy. He thought about reaching out to wipe a grain of rice off the girl's face. The girl turned beet red from shyness. Yun Qingqiu continued eating with a calm and nonchalant expression. But inside, he was absolutely thrilled. I finally got to touch a girl's face. To hell with Wubian Pavilion, I am never going back there. I will just spend the rest of my life peacefully flirting with girls. After finishing the meal, Xiaoya pulled Qingqiu along to Gaiyuan Sword Valley to undergo the trial and start their immortal path. Qingqiu looked like he had lost all hope in life. I just finished 10,000 years of cultivation, and I have to start all over again. Upon arriving at Sword Valley, it was already packed with a sea of people. Ling Xiaoya sighed. It would be great if we could stay here. She turned around and saw Qingqiu covered in sweat. She hurriedly helped him wipe it off. She teased, "You are already panting after walking such a short distance. A big guy like you is even weaker than a little girl like me." Qingqiu took a sip of water and thought to himself, "It is only because this host's body is extremely frail. This physical vessel needs some serious buffing. Before I get hardened up again, I need to exercise some restraint." Xiaoya watched the people flying on swords in the sky. Her eyes were full of envy. "If only I could fly on a sword too." Qingqiu remarked, "Flying on a sword is actually very simple." Xiaoya complained, "Easy for you to say. I bet you do not even know what the test involves, do you?" "The test content? I really do not know. Is it like the body tempering pavilion, wearing masks and doing muscle wrestling? Or like the heavenly maiden sect, singing and dancing like a bunch of maniacs? Surely it is not like the witches of Wuchen Palace, recruiting pure yang bodies for questionable things." Xiaoya, annoyed, pinched his face and shouted, "Where did you hear all this nonsense? The Gaiyuan Sword Valley test measures spiritual root aptitude. As long as your aptitude is excellent, you can become an official disciple." Just then, the crowd behind them began to stir with excitement. It turned out the testing had begun. A voice from above announced, "Those whose aptitude is determined to be superior by the spiritual array will become disciples of this sect. Those with poor aptitude can still serve as laborers in the miscellaneous affairs hall." Xiaoya happily said to Qingqiu, "Even if you do not pass the test, you can still stay. That way, I can keep taking good care of you." With a face full of dark lines, Qingqiu said, "Do you really have that little faith in my strength?" Xiaoya said earnestly, "Of course I believe in you. Even though you are thin, weak, and a bit floppy. If you can't haul bricks, you can still be a cook." Qingqiu thought helplessly, "I was the top boss of the #1 sect in the cultivation world, and now I am actually being doubted over a simple test like this. What a slight sting of melancholy." His soul had accidentally transmigrated into the youth Yun Qingqiu. This 10,000-year-old pervert was actually trying to charm girls with his dignified act. A grand immortal venerable had fallen so low as to have his aptitude questioned. His childhood friend immediately tried to comfort him. All right, stop sulking. I still believe you can pass the aptitude test." Despite his dark expression, he thought mischievously, "Annoyed as I am, this soft, smooth little hand of hers is actually quite nice." At that moment, a girl holding a bamboo scroll waved her hand and said, "Everyone, please come over to this formation." Immediately, a bunch of creeps popped up from the crowd. "Wow, a little fairy. She is so cute, I am melting." Qingqiu was also squinting his eyes with a smile, looking at the girl. Xiaoya noted with surprise, "I did not expect you to be so composed. I thought you would lose your cool too." Qingqiu looked smug. "How could I be as childish as those young brats?" His mouth said one thing, but his eyes were very honest. The next second, he took a direct punch to the face. The girl was recording names, and when she saw Qingqiu, "Isn't that the peeping Tom?" Startled, she threw the bamboo scroll and ran away immediately. It turns out she went to go get backup. Senior sister walked over without exposing his true identity. She even encouraged him to give it his best shot. But the moment she turned around, her expression shifted instantly. "Keep him calm for now. She will settle the score with him later." As a cunning old fox who has lived for 10,000 years, how could he not understand that things are probably going to get messy later? Clueless about the situation, Xiaoya starts getting jealous. He is hit with a triple threat soul interrogation from his childhood friend. "Do you know those two senior sisters? Why do they keep staring at you? Don't tell me they actually think you are handsome." Qingqiu claims that while his handsomeness is a fact, there is nothing else going on. Luckily, the test began, allowing him to dodge a bullet. The first girl tested has a low-grade fire spiritual root, suitable for cultivation. Pass next Jiao Wu. You can tell by the name, he is just an extra. The spirit array did not even react. Xiaoya watches the 2/3 failure rate and starts getting a bit nervous. Yun Qingqiu explains that spiritual energy is thin down here at the mountain base. Not everyone is born with a spiritual root. He pats the girl's head and says, "You will definitely pass, because you are so pretty." Supposedly, a person's physical constitution is influenced by their spiritual root. Those with top-tier talent usually look good too. The girl, charmed by his flirting, tosses her head back playfully. She says, "You have got away with words, kid. I will protect you from now on. No one gets to bully you except me." That is when this 10,000-year-old pervert's wicked intentions surface. He says that reward is too far off. Let us have one that is a bit closer. If you are chosen as a high-grade disciple, just sing a song for me. Unaware of his ulterior motives, Xiaoya agrees immediately. Now, it is Xiaoya's turn to be tested. Watching Xiaoya's figure walk away, Yun Qingqiu starts imagining Xiaoya singing The Mighty and Majestic for him. To think that for her childhood friend, Yun Qingqiu, she would give up on immortality. She only wishes to grow old with him, just as it was Xiaoya's turn for the test. The moment she stepped onto the spirit array, ripples began to undulate beneath her feet. Her body was surrounded by blue, green, and gold light. The massive fluctuations of spiritual power shocked the sect leader, making him lose his cool. It is actually a triple spiritual root. This is a genius with top-tier potential. The elders looked at each other. They all saw the must-have determination in each other's eyes. Ling Xiaoya stepped off the array and bowed to the sect leader and elders. The sect leader looked overjoyed. He wanted to take Ling Xiaoya back to the sect ahead of schedule. She is very happy to be able to join Gaiyuan Sword Valley. But looking back at Yun Qingqiu, she decisively declined and decided to wait until he finished his test before deciding. The sect leader is in high spirits right now. Naturally, he agreed to this simple request. Next up, it is time for the big boss to start showing off. Meanwhile, Ling Xiaoya is a bit worried. He was always half-hearted about his cultivation before. She is wondering if she can plead with the sect leader for him. Yun Qingqiu walks onto the testing spirit array. As expected, there was not a single reaction around him. The sect leader shook his head regretfully and told Xiaoya he had no talent for cultivation. Xiaoya, looking devastated, said she had one request, but the sect leader is an old pro. He saw right through her thoughts. He advised her that it is best to let that idea go. Without cultivation, in 100 years, he will be a gray-haired old man, while you will still look young. Xiaoya gritted her teeth and fell into thought. I have always been the one taking care of that idiot. If I leave, will he even be able to survive? Then I will just give up on cultivation and grow old slowly with him. Just as she was about to speak her mind, she noticed the expression on the sect leader's face suddenly freeze. Xiaoya seemed to sense something too. She spun around abruptly, covering her mouth in disbelief. As it turns out, Yun Qingqiu realized this testing spirit array's level was way too low. It could not even detect his spiritual root at all. How's he supposed to flex like this? He had no choice but to take the initiative and release a tiny bit of spiritual power. Just showing off a tiny fraction is enough to get their attention. But even so, it caused spiritual energy to surge outward like a vast ocean. Seeing such high spiritual fluctuations, Xiaoya was instantly overjoyed. Great, now we can cultivate together. The two girls who were exposed that day were also beyond shocked. Is this the wind spirit root? The sect leader also cried out, feeling like he would hit the jackpot. Mutated spirit roots like this are usually only seen in high-tier sects. I never thought I would see the day I would be so lucky. The elders immediately fell into a daydream of glory, fantasizing about the ultimate F4 leading the sect to greatness, to become the strongest sect in the cultivation world. Failing the aptitude test, no way. Time for me to flex a little. Just revealing a hint of the wind spirit root shocked everyone from top to bottom. Since I am going to show off, I might as well go big. The swirling wind around him had just dissipated when a layer of frost began to spread beneath his feet. Let the cold wind blow even harder. Wait. This is the mutated ice spirit root. But what he did not expect was that the people in this small sect had no eye for quality. The excitement on the faces of the sect leader and the two elders vanished instantly, replaced by expressions like they had just swallowed a fly. Yun Qingqiu was stunned. Don't tell me you think dual mutated spirit roots are trash. The sect leader thought multiple mutated roots would suppress each other, making it impossible to use even a tenth of their power. Basically, it is unfit for cultivation. Everyone immediately lost interest in fighting over him. Passing the buck, they casually pushed Yun Qingqiu toward the one they called the strongest talent, the fourth elder, Xuanji. Yun Qingqiu stood there with a face full of dark lines, thinking, I wanted to flex, but I overdid it. Having finished their trade, the elders looked like hungry wolves, their eyes glowing green as they fixated on Ling Xiaoya. Terrified, Xiaoya immediately hid behind Yun Qingqiu. Frightened, she ducked behind him at once. The sect leader used the tone of a big bad wolf, tricking a little lamb to comfort her, but then bared his teeth and said that he would personally teach Xiaoya cultivation techniques later. The great elder told the sect leader not to be so hasty. Your spirit root is not compatible with Ling Xiaoya's. The other elders nodded in agreement. The sect leader had no choice but to step up and say, it is better to ask Ling Xiaoya for her opinion. The sect leader looked at Xiaoya with a kind grandfatherly face, emphasizing once more that he was the sect leader of Gaiyuan Sword Valley. He asked her, who did she want to choose as her master? The nearby elders were gnashing their teeth in frustration. They said, even though he is the sect leader, our seniority is higher than his, so do not be afraid. Besides, he is still young. His understanding of cultivation is not as deep as ours. The sect leader was so angry his face was twitching. Then Ling Xiaoya spoke up, interrupting their bickering. I want to be with Qingqiu. Wherever he goes, I go. At this point, the great elder stepped forward, saying he would take both. He claimed the fourth elder rarely teaches and just lets disciples wander. Pointing at the two confused girls behind him, They are living examples of his neglect. Hearing that there was no supervision, and that he would be left to his own devices, Yun Qingqiu's eyes immediately lit up. Plus, those two lovely ladies were also the fourth elder's disciples. The elder then boasted about his alchemy skills, saying he might use pills to fix the suppression of the dual mutated spirit roots. Surely that is an enticing offer, right? At this moment, he felt like he had the upper hand. Yun Qingqiu also looked like he agreed. The elder smugly asked, "So, who do you choose as your master?" Yun Qingqiu raised his hand and shouted, "I choose the fourth elder." The elder felt like he had been struck by lightning. He wondered if he had heard wrong, or if the boy had misspoken. "You are not following the script at all. I laid it all out for you, and this is what you say." But he is also the most unromantic man ever, surrounded by three beautiful women. All he can think about is food. Just now, Yun Qingqiu chose the fourth elder as his master. The two senior sisters brought them to Qingyu Peak, the residence of Elder Zan. Senior sister explained that this is the most livable peak in all of Gaiyuan Sword Valley. Just then, Ling Xiaoya pointed to the sky and said, "Qingqiu, look, what a beautiful spirit bird." Yun Qingqiu wiped his drool and remarked, "Yeah, so beautiful. It would definitely taste delicious roasted." The three beauties were left speechless. Ling Xiaoya then pointed to the nearby bushes. "There is a little bunny here too. It is so round and cute." Yun Qingqiu, still salivating, replied, "You are right. It is so cute. It would definitely taste delicious roasted." Walking over to a flock of ducks, Ling Xiaoya said to Qingqiu, "Look at that big duck leading all the little ducklings." Yun Qingqiu could hardly hold back his drool anymore. "Yeah. Seeing them makes me want to skewer them all and roast them together." Ling Xiaoya was so annoyed she puffed out her cheeks. She thought to herself, surrounded by girls and he still says such stupid things. I hope the senior sisters are not offended. Single quote. Ling Xiaoya pushed Yun Qingqiu's head down and apologized to the senior sisters. "Senior sisters, please do not mind him. He has a bit of a problem with his brain." The senior sister awkwardly replied, "It is fine. We will just assume junior brother is joking." However, the senior sister behind her thought, "Actually, Xiao Chu is right." Single quote. They probably would be very tender and tasty if roasted. She immediately suggested, "How about we catch a few and try them out?" Yun Qingqiu raised both hands and feet in total agreement. The result was predictable. Each of them got dragged back home by their ears. The eldest senior sister led everyone to a pavilion. She said, "This place has always been empty. From now on, the two of you can live here." Ling Xiaoya suddenly noticed the surroundings were very quiet. "Why do not I see any other senior brothers or sisters? Are they all busy cultivating?" The two senior sisters were momentarily silent. Ling Xiaoya sensed something was off. Could it be that there are very few people here? The two senior sisters quickly explained, "How could we be short-staffed? The four of us plus master makes 5 people." Yuan saw Xiaoya's concern. She added, "Don't be alarmed. Every month, we get plenty of elixir pills from master." The eldest senior sister also hurriedly took out a cultivation manual from master to show Xiaoya. She said, "If there is anything you do not understand, you can ask Mu Yan or me. It is getting late. You two should get some rest." Ling Xiaoya's face turned bright red as she grabbed the eldest senior sister and whispered, "Senior sister, you put me and Qingqiu in the same room." Yun Qingqiu gave a big thumbs up, indicating it was awesome. "This way, I will have company if I need to use the restroom at night." Ling Xiaoya threw a punch right at Yun Qingqiu's face. "Nobody asked for your opinion." The eldest senior sister asked in confusion, "Aren't you two Dao companions? Living together should not be a problem." Ling Xiaoya immediately replied shyly, "No, we are not. I would never be Dao companions with this idiot." Realizing the truth, the senior sister took Ling Xiaoya and left, leaving only Yun Qingqiu behind, wailing in despair. "Don't leave me all alone. How can I go on without you?" Ever since descending to the mortal world, this immortal venerable had developed a fondness for forbidden scrolls. He always loved putting what he learned into practice. With just a few words, he could make the eldest senior sister's heart race and her face flush. Suddenly, Yun Qingqiu felt a bit conflicted. The seniority here is a bit of a mess. Technically, you are my eldest senior sister. Luo Yenji's pretty face flushed red, although she did not say much. She thought, "Oh, so you do know I am your senior sister, and yet you keep teasing me over and over again. You have got me overthinking things every single day. And now you bring up seniority, you are really too much." Her resentful gaze made Yun Qingqiu feel very awkward. He could only follow her inside and stand to the side like a dummy. He really did not know how to handle this situation. After a moment, Luo Yenji's emotions gradually calmed down. She let out a soft sigh. "Junior brother, that feather must be your family heirloom, right? Such a precious item, yet you gave it to us." Yun Qingqiu had to make up an excuse to play it off. He figured he would just get through this moment first. Whatever, if we do not use it, it will just be in the room gathering dust. But in his heart, he knew very well that the azure flame vermilion bird's feathers grow incredibly fast. If he wanted to, it might just. He could easily pluck a whole bunch to make azure flame feather robes and flex all over town. He could easily pluck a whole bunch to make azure flame feather robes and flex all over town, causing the cultivation world. He could easily pluck a whole bunch to make azure flame feather robes and flex all over town, but that would probably throw the entire cultivation world into chaos. Luo Yenji slowly nodded. This treasure is a once-in-a-lifetime find. Even I, your senior sister, can't possibly compensate you for it. At the same time, a strange thought popped into her head, offering herself in marriage. But how could she bring herself to say something like that out loud? While her mind was racing, Yun Qingqiu suddenly placed both hands on Luo Yenji's shoulders. He looked at her with a grave expression. Luo Yenji was startled. Her heart began to pound rapidly. Yun Qingqiu's face kept getting closer. Luo Yenji's panicked eyes darted around quickly. She gently bit her lip and closed her eyes. She felt as if Yun Qingqiu was sniffing the scent on her body. For a moment, she was speechless. This guy was taking advantage of her again. Does he really think I won't get angry? Just then, Yun Qingqiu suddenly looked at her with a solemn face. He said softly, 5 simple words, you have been poisoned. Luo Yenji was slightly stunned. Because the cold poison from her grandfather's body had spread too quickly, it had unknowingly seeped into her own body, and her entire focus had been on her junior brother. She had not noticed at all that she had been poisoned. Yun Qingqiu took out an alchemy cauldron. Luckily, we caught it early. I just need to help you, senior sister, refine a pill to expel it. As the flames danced, the medicinal ingredients tumbled in the cauldron. His profound techniques and skills left Luo Yenji in awe. This was even more impressive than his performance at the Alchemy Grand Assembly. The level of skill he was displaying was even more outrageous. Soon, a warm, steaming crimson pill was refined. He held the pill in his hand. Senior sister, just take this pill and you will be fine. Luo Yenji's mind was in a whirl. She had no idea just how terrifying her junior brother's alchemy skills had become. She was just about to reach out and take the pill, when Yun Qingqiu thought for a moment. After all, this was a top-tier, third-grade pill. He did not want Luo Yenji to see through his act. So, to be safe, he decided he had to personally administer it to her. So he walked up to her and used his hand to pinch her mouth open. He directly sent the pill inside. Luo Yenji could not help but glare at Yun Qingqiu. Do you think I am a child, feeding me like it is a piece of candy? Yun Qingqiu carefully observed Luo Yenji's physical signs. He told her to quickly activate the pill. When the pill's effects spread throughout your body, a warm current will flow through you. The sensation will be strongest where your meridians converge. Senior sister, you need to mark the number of times the warm current appears at those meridian convergence points. Once the warm current stops, come find me immediately. Seeing how serious Yun Qingqiu was, Luo Yenji stopped being careless. She quickly ran to a private room next door. After taking the pill, a warm current indeed surged through her body. Her whole body could not help but feel hot. Luo Yenji took off her red robe. She took a brush and recorded each time the warm current appeared in her body. She sat cross-legged on the bed. Waving her hands, she slowly absorbed and refined the spiritual energy. As her body temperature rose, crystal-clear beads of sweat continuously slid down her jade-like body. After a good while, the refinement process finally ended. Just as she was about to change into clean clothes, she suddenly remembered that Yun Qingqiu would need to check her markings later. So she took off her outer robe again. In order to display the marked symbols, she had no choice but to wear some rather revealing undergarments and a thong. She could not help but feel a little shy. They were just senior sister and junior brother, yet they had to meet so frankly. After a long while, she timidly peeked her head out. Junior brother, I am too embarrassed to come out. You should just come in. Yun Qingqiu did not think much of it. He immediately strode to the doorway. Are you ready? Then I am coming in. The moment he looked up, he was so shocked his scalp went numb. With the Immortal Emperor's help, the old man finally found a way to break the curse. But who would have thought senior sister would get a chill invasion again and end up poisoned by cold? Good thing we caught it early. Yun Qingqiu immediately refined a medicinal pill to treat her. After Luo Yenji took the pill, she followed what Yun Qingqiu said and recorded each warm surge one by one. But she was way too embarrassed to go out, so she let Yun Qingqiu come in. The scene in front of him instantly made Yun Qingqiu go numb in the scalp. Luo Yenji stood there shyly right in front of him. She was barely dressed, and her jade-like figure hit his line of sight head-on. Especially those ridiculously long legs, perfectly on display right now. Straight and fair, impossible to look away from. Yun Qingqiu swallowed hard without realizing it. Good thing his willpower was solid, or this could have turned into a major disaster. Then, without warning, his nose started bleeding. Luo Yenji hurried over to show concern, but he just waved a hand like it was nothing, letting it bleed like he was having the time of his life. Seeing that, Luo Yenji did not say anything else. She pointed at her lower abdomen. There are no major meridians converging here, but there is a warm current passing through, so she drew an arrow to mark it. Yun Qingqiu sucked in a cold breath. That arrow is the finishing touch. Luo Yenji looked completely lost. Yun Qingqiu quickly waved it off. It is nothing. How many times the warm current appears is how many layers of cold poison you have, meaning 5 layers of cold poison in the abdomen. Yun Qingqiu lifted his head with a perfectly straight-faced expression. Next, we need to gently press the point where the cold poison converges. Then use spiritual power to catalyze it, so the warm current surrounding it swallows it up. So what I am about to do to senior sister is completely reasonable. I have no improper thoughts whatsoever. Luo Yanji blushed instantly. This brat has already seen her, already teased her, and now he still has to touch her. And she is not even his person or anything. Yun Qingqiu, however, looked solemn. With spiritual power controlled in his hand, he said, "Senior sister, I am going in." Luo Yanji bit her lip shyly and said, go on." The moment she said it, she felt how wrong it sounded. So she added, "Junior brother, do not mess around. If you touch me recklessly, then I will cling to you for the rest of my life. The kind you cannot shake off, no matter what." Luo Yanji had meant it as a serious warning. But after she said it, it somehow lost all sense of threat. Yun Qingqiu felt his heart bloom. He thought, would that not be perfect? But he quickly shook his head and reminded himself, no. I cannot be this down bad. Yun Qingqiu clenched his teeth and silently recited a motto to stay sharp. Righteous energy fills heaven and earth. The arrow is on the belly. Hold the line. Keep it together. Heaven and earth have righteous energy. The arrow is on the belly. I still have righteous energy. Heaven and earth have righteous energy. Senior sister is panting. No, that is not right. When he could not remember it properly, he could not be bothered to keep chanting. Yun Qingqiu hurriedly gathered spiritual power. He catalyzed it toward Luo Yanji to eliminate the cold poison. After the spiritual power invaded her body, a warm current formed, making Luo Yanji shiver uncontrollably. She even let out some strange sounds. Before she could even catch her breath, Yun Qingqiu immediately sent spiritual power into other parts of her body. After the catalysis, a thin thread of cold aura slowly drifted out. At this moment, Luo Yanji was flushed all over. Yun Qingqiu watched his nose, watched his heart, and definitely did not watch her legs. He did his best to help remove those layer after layer of cold poison. But good times always fly by. Even though Yun Qingqiu deliberately slowed down, as the cold poison gradually faded, Luo Yanji suddenly went limp. She completely collapsed into Yun Qingqiu's arms. Yun Qingqiu carefully observed senior sister's reaction. He had adjusted the dosage properly. It should not be like this. While puzzled, he suddenly sensed a strand of sinister, demonic aura on Luo Yanji. Dense curse markings stretched from her face downward, until they covered every inch of her skin. Yun Qingqiu jolted in shock. This is the Luo God Curse. Thousands of years ago, the cultivation world once had a Luo God clan. Their water arts had reached the peak of perfection. They once held a place of their own in the cultivation world. The girls of the Luo God clan were all water-spirited, beautiful, pure, and elegant. But the Luo God clan strictly controlled their bloodline. After a girl was born, she would be bound by the Luo God Curse, restricting her path in life. The curse can only be broken on the wedding night. It is said that the Luo God Curse manifests when one becomes overly intimate with the opposite sex. And once a maiden's forbidden line is crossed, the Luo God Curse will trigger its vicious punishment on both parties. However, as time went on, like most other sects and clans, they fell into decline, and quietly withdrew from the pinnacle of power. Now no one knows where the Luo God clan has migrated to. In short, when things get too intimate, the Luo God Curse will flash a yellow card as a warning. But if virginity is lost, the Luo God Curse will directly show a red card and issue a penalty. Yun Qingqiu was completely baffled as to why the Luo God Curse would suddenly appear. I do not think I did anything that crossed the line, did I? The strongest Immortal Emperor just wanted to help his senior sister expel the cold poison, but he unexpectedly triggered the Luo God Curse instead. Legend has it that as long as a maiden's forbidden line is crossed, the Luo God Curse will trigger its vicious punishment on both parties. Seeing her, Yun Qingqiu was momentarily at a loss. If Luo Yanji were to wake up now, she would probably point her finger at my nose and curse me out. Yun Qingqiu, trembling, pulled back his hand from her thigh. Good thing I did not do anything too out of line. Otherwise, breaking senior sister's Luo God Curse would be a huge mess. However, the moment he pulled his hand back, a look of agony appeared on Luo Yanji's face. The dense script faintly gave off the sound of an ancient chant. Those characters detached from Luo Yanji's body, forming a black mass of water. The mass of water rapidly transformed into the shape of a dragon's claw. Then without a word, it lunged viciously at Yun Qingqiu. Yun Qingqiu extended his divine palm. The claw instantly froze in front of him, unable to advance another inch. The water let out a piercing shriek. It furiously tried to push forward, wanting to assassinate this person. Yun Qingqiu clenched his palm. The struggling mass of water instantly dispersed into a wisp of green smoke. I am afraid even a golden core realm cultivator would be killed on the spot by that attack. Too bad it ran into me. He looked at his senior sister on the bed head and said slowly, "This is no ordinary Luo god curse. Looks like senior sister has quite a story to tell." The words had just been spoken. Those curse-like characters on her body rapidly vanished. The Luo god curse was broken, just like that. Yun Qingqiu almost blacked out. What the hell? I did not take senior sister's virginity. I just helped her deal with the cold poison and touched her a little. And then the Luo god curse broke just like that. Yun Qingqiu wanted to cry but had no tears. What am I going to do if senior sister finds out? How am I supposed to explain this to her? The person involved is unconscious, but I am wide awake. This is a mess that is impossible to explain. You have got to be kidding me. While he was freaking out, Luo Yenji suddenly clenched her teeth and let out a painful moan. A mouthful of old blood sprayed out on the spot. At this point, Yun Qingqiu could not care about anything else. He rushed forward to check her physical condition. What a vicious Luo god curse. Once broken, not only can she no longer cultivate, but her appearance will also be ruined. How can a woman survive in the chaotic cultivation world like this? Right now, her spiritual energy is collapsing, and her meridians are in chaos. Her meridians are in chaos. Right now, her spiritual energy is collapsing, and her meridians are in chaos. With her meridians in chaos, her sea of qi is also about to rupture. How can this curse be broken? Her spiritual energy is collapsing, and her sea of qi is about to rupture. How can this curse be broken? Her spiritual energy is collapsing, and her sea of qi is also about to rupture. How can this curse be broken? Yun Qingqiu sifted through all the knowledge in his memories. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration. The blood of the azure flame vermilion bird. He was seen taking out a jade bottle. He dripped the blood of the azure flame vermilion bird into his own mouth. He slowly diluted it. Using his own powerful spiritual energy, he refined the violent power. Then he held Luo Yenji's face and made her open her mouth. He fed the refined blood essence to her, mouth to mouth. Feeling the warmth and moisture on her lips, she slowly opened her eyes. She could feel that the scent was very familiar. It was her own junior brother. Soon, the eyes that had just opened closed again on their own accord. Her wrist hooked around Yun Qingqiu's neck. Her lips and tongue moved slightly. Yun Qingqiu had no time to mind the various sensations at this moment. He focused on controlling the diluted blood of the vermilion bird. To repair all the damaged parts of Luo Yenji's body, Yun Qingqiu took a sip with his mouth. He sucked the excess energy back into his mouth. The Foundation Establishment realm can't handle much more. This should be enough. After breaking the curse, Yun Qingqiu was drenched in sweat from exhaustion. A faint glow flickered on Luo Yenji's leg. A tiny delicate mark shimmered with a faint light. It slowly imprinted itself onto her skin. What the hell? Yun Qingqiu was completely dumbfounded. He frantically tried to rub Luo Yenji's leg with his hand, as if trying to wipe the mark away. However, it seemed to be completely useless. The mark flashed cheerfully and settled on the inside of her thigh. Yun Qingqiu stared at the scene before him, at a total loss. So now, senior sister is my woman too. 2 days later, Yun Qingqiu sat alone on the roof. He silently contemplated everything that had happened recently. He was chewing on a medicinal herb that replenished vital energy. Over the past 2 days, Luo Senior's vital energy had gradually recovered. Luo Yenji had completely shaken off the trauma of the Luo god curse. Her constitution, bones, and meridians had also been massively enhanced. And now there is this extra spiritual imprint. Senior sister belongs to me now. Yun Qingqiu was going a little crazy. In his past life, he died single. In this life, he just woke up and already has 2 girls. And they are the kind blessed by the heavenly Tao, leaving behind spiritual imprints. One has the heavenly phantom saintly body, a fairy renowned throughout the entire cultivation world. The other is the royal lady of the Luo god clan. I could play with those legs for 1,000 years and never get tired. A lap pillow or something. Just thinking about it is unbearable. A lap pillow. I can't take it anymore. Yun Qingqiu shook his head with a bitter smile. The juice is a small matter. Improving my physique is not too difficult, but raising it to a level that matches my primordial spirit is another story. Yun Qingqiu recalled the ultimate formulas recorded in some books. It requires a woman with the demonic charm body, the dust transcending body, or the immortal feather body. A woman with the demonic charm body, the dust transcending body, or the immortal feather body. A woman's hand. Demonic charm body, dust transcending body, immortal feather body. Demonic charm body, dust transcending body, immortal feather body. The spiritual blood of these 3 rare physiques, and they must be innocent women who have not known the world. Spiritual blood is not just ordinary blood. They are not my wives or anything. How could it be so easy to ask for their spiritual blood? I do not even know if I can gather them all. For now, I can only rely on short-term formulas to get by, but that is a minor issue. What truly gave Yun Qingqiu a helpless headache was not knowing how to handle his relationship with the 2 of them. One is his childhood sweetheart with the heavenly phantom saintly body. The other is the #1 beauty of Luoling City, a national treasure. Both of them have been marked with an imprint certified by the heavenly Tao. Yun Qingqiu was in a bit of a bind. After all, in his previous life, he had never been in a relationship. Suddenly having two Tao companions. How should I break the news to them? He had heard of reincarnation before, but when he actually experienced it himself, he could not help but feel a little lost. He did not know how long he would live. Is it right to just take them in so rashly? Just as Yun Qingqiu was lost in thought, a small shadow suddenly fell over his face. Luo Yanji wanted to sneak up behind Yun Qingqiu and playfully cover his eyes, but Yun Qingqiu suddenly lay down. His line of sight was aimed right under her skirt. Needless to say, Yun Qingqiu's vision was impeccable. Naturally, he saw everything crystal clear. Luo Yanji quickly held down her skirt. Junior brother, did you just… Luo Yanji quickly held down her skirt. She sat down beside him, annoyed. Junior brother, what did you just see? Yun Qingqiu chuckled and quickly changed the subject. He turned the question back on her. He asked if her body was feeling better. Luo Yanji shyly lowered her head. Thanks to you, junior brother, my body is fine now. Light-hearted. Thanks to you, junior brother, my body is fine now. Light-hearted. Thanks to you, junior brother, my body is fine now. Light-hearted. In fact, I feel much lighter. In fact, I feel much lighter. Much lighter. And I am looking forward to it even more. In fact, I feel much lighter. So much lighter. And I feel even better. In fact, I feel much lighter. And after waking up, I vaguely feel that my chest has become a little fuller. I heard the most effective way for breast enhancement is to be touched. Could it be that junior brother was peeking? Although she was suspicious, she felt it was unlikely. After all, the places my junior brother stares at most are my face and legs. Luo Yanji turned her head, leaving Yun Qingqiu with a stunning side profile. I am not telling you. I am not telling you. The warm glow of the setting sun sprinkled across her hair and cheek. Her dark hair swayed with the wind, the tips catching the sunset's halo. Her side profile was devastatingly beautiful. For a moment, Yun Qingqiu was captivated. He could not resist raising his hand and gently caressing Luo Yanji's cheek with his fingertips. Luo Yanji's heart began to race. She was not sure if it was a false memory from when she was being healed, but she vaguely remembered a scene where the two of them had kissed. Yun Qingqiu only made the slightest contact. Then, blushing, he quickly pulled his hand back. Luo Yanji suddenly felt a bit frustrated. What is with this half-hearted teasing? Yun Qingqiu smiled again and changed the subject. Senior sister, is your grandfather feeling better now? Luo Yanji gave him a firm, positive answer without hesitation. Yun Qingqiu then looked away. Then, seeing as I have been so helpful, could I ask senior sister to grant me a chance to be forgiven? He was, in truth, feeling a little guilty. He hoped that when senior sister discovered he had broken the Luo God curse, she might forgive him just a little. Luo Yanji looked completely baffled. Forgiven? Forgiven for what? I can't thank you enough for saving me and my grandfather. Yun Qingqiu immediately sat up. He asked her how she planned to thank him. The next second, Luo Yanji suddenly leaned in. She said jokingly, how about I offer myself to you? Pity I am 3 years older. If you do not mind. Before she could finish, Yun Qingqiu muttered under his breath. You were mine to begin with. How does this count as a reward? Luo Yanji blinked her large eyes. What did you just say, junior brother? Yun Qingqiu hurriedly explained. I said, senior sister, you have gotten even more beautiful. And fuller too. The jade body incantation is working. The moment he said that, Luo Yanji was about to give him a flick on the forehead, but she could not bring herself to do it. Besides, you have your junior sister. It is not my turn. Luo Yanji smiled softly. Well, does my junior brother like sweets? I will stay by your side and make you desserts. I will keep making them until you get sick of them. Yun Qingqiu picked up where she left off. Senior sister can also learn to make other snacks. Then I will just keep eating them until you get sick of me. In her haste, Luo Yanji blurted out her true feelings. How could I ever get sick of you? Yun Qingqiu patted her hand. That is even better. Xiaoye can take care of daily life, and senior sister can be in charge of desserts. We will live a happy, blissful life together. If the future is uncertain, then let us just go with the flow. If you both are willing to stay by my side, then I will not let either of you down. After a long while, Luo Yanji calmed her emotions. Making desserts is fine, but I do not have much experience taking care of others. However, she was willing to try. Seeing no response from her junior brother, Luo Yanji turned to look. Yun Qingqiu had already closed his eyes and fallen asleep. Luo Yanji looked at the young man beside her. Junior brother, I am taking your words to heart. From now on, you will be the only one in my heart. She glanced around, saw no one, and lightly kissed his cheek. The women of the Luo God clan are not so easily won over. This man, because his power was so immense, actually attracted the biggest boss of the black market to come and curry favor. Li Baobao listened with the utmost respect. He was inwardly delighted. A favor from a fourth-tier alchemist is worth far more than spirit stones. So Yun Qingqiu brought up the Luo Chamber of Commerce to him. A few reckless nobodies were making trouble in the shadows. It displeased him greatly. He ordered Li Baobao to investigate those scoundrels, and to completely ruin them. Ruin them as much as possible, and make sure they stay alive. Let them have a good taste of bankruptcy. At these words, Li Baobao suddenly grew tense. He knew perfectly well in his heart, the forces ganging up on the Shungsai Chamber of Commerce are definitely no joke. Many trade guilds in Luoling City are in cahoots with the city lord. If the black market makes a sudden move, they will surely be suppressed by various factions. Yun Qingqiu gave a dismissive wave of his hand. He was not in the mood for this nonsense. In an incredibly calm tone, he told him, "There is no such thing as impossible. There is only doing it or not doing it." Following that, he patted Li Baobao on the shoulder. He knew that relying solely on these pill trades to make him do such things was indeed a bit of a stretch. So he pulled another jade bottle from his robe as a reward, and he instructed him to get the job done cleanly and beautifully. Li Baobao hemmed and hawed, just about to refuse. However, he could tell that this was not a negotiation. It was an unquestionable command. Driven by curiosity, he opened the jade bottle. In the next second, his face changed drastically. Inside, there were actually 2 top-tier grade 3 pills. The man before him was actually a rank 5 alchemist. Li Baobao was so terrified that he collapsed right onto the ground. He never imagined in his wildest dreams that he would encounter such a legendary prodigy in this tiny Luoling city. Forget Luoling City. Even in the entire Kanglan domain, no one could touch a person like this. He secretly speculated that this man was not some youth at all. He must have practiced some profound youth retaining technique to look this way. The surrounding managers looked at each other in confusion. They did not understand why their well-traveled president was scared witless like this. They could not help but wonder what exactly was in that jade bottle. But one glare from Li Baobao sent them all cowering in fear. Li Baobao knew very well in his heart, if the black market had a backer like this, why would they need to stay huddled in this tiny Luoling city? He immediately cupped his fists in a formal salute. "Master, I shall do my utmost to carry out your orders." If Master wished, he was even willing to dedicate his entire life to him. Yun Qingqiu was slightly startled. He did not have that kind of peculiar taste. Just as he planned to leave and reveal his identity, Li Baobao immediately bowed his body in panic. He told him that it was not necessary. A small chamber like theirs was not worthy of knowing his great name. He also promised to keep his whereabouts strictly confidential. Yun Qingqiu waved his hand and walked out. Looking at his receding back, cold sweat poured down Li Baobao's face. When a big shot like this comes to the black market, they clearly want dirty work done. Prying into his name would be a death wish, would not it? Having witnessed Yun Qingqiu's capabilities, Li Baobao agreed to work for him without a second thought. It was not until he saw him off that Li Baobao's racing heart finally slowed down a bit. Then he turned around abruptly, glaring at the managers. "How did you receive such a great figure? Are you all blind?" The receptionist, Hu Li, was so scared her face was covered in cold sweat. She was screaming internally, who could have told that he was a big shot? Li Baobao immediately demoted her to the most entry-level receptionist. Then he turned to look at He Mao. He handed the position of chamber supervisor over to her. He Mao stood there dazed. She almost fainted from pure joy. Now, only one day remained until the Luoling City Alchemy Convention. Luo Yanji came to the courtyard gate, feeling very apprehensive. She had been too suppressed that day. She was actually comforted by her junior brother, as if she were a child. She briefly adjusted her breathing, and then slowly pushed open the door. Yun Qingqiu was standing by the cauldron, conducting tests. Seeing them enter, he hurried over to greet them. Perhaps because he had read too many spicy novels recently, he had unconsciously learned a few protagonist pickup moves. With just a few words, he had Luo Yanji blushing and her heart racing. And the reason she came this time was to take the two of them out, to relax for a bit. Without a second thought, Yun Qingqiu ran outside, leaving the 3 women to follow behind him. After a while, Mu Yun got tired. She wanted to find a place to rest for a bit. So Luo Yanji left Luo Lin there with her, while she continued to stroll around with Yun Qingqiu alone. Because Yun Qingqiu had been in seclusion for too long, he was full of curiosity about everything here, even about the patterned cloths women use for their monthly cycles. Look, he is selling that god oil stuff on the roadside, and there are even cucumbers for sale at that stall. After the two of them finished a lap of wandering around, Luo Yenji was so exhausted her face was flushed, and she was panting hard. Her clothes were completely soaked with sweat. Seeing this, Yun Qingqiu hurriedly helped her down to take a rest. He immediately began to channel his spiritual power. A refreshing breeze began to blow. Luo Yenji's hair and clothes fluttered in the wind, feeling exceptionally cool. Yun Qingqiu chuckled as he used the wind control art to act as a human fan. Does this feel a bit better? Soon, an icicle shaped like a rose slowly condensed in his hand. Luo Yenji took the icicle and admired it closely. She had never seen a spiritual art used in such a creative way before. Yun Qingqiu scratched his head sheepishly. He said it was also his first time using a spiritual art for someone else like this. As he spoke, Yun Qingqiu condensed another icicle. He started crunching on it himself, making loud cracking sounds. Luo Yenji lowered her head, her face turning bright red. The first time he has done this for someone else, huh? Just then, a merchant walked up to the two of them. They each picked out a small trinket for the other. Their playful bickering truly gave off the vibe of a young couple in love. This continued until nightfall. The group met at the North Street intersection as planned. Miu Yun waved her arms at the two of them. When she saw Yun Qingqiu's new look, Miu Yun could not help but stare in a daze. Yun Qingqiu gave a hearty laugh. He told her that senior sister had helped him get ready. Luo Lin, hearing this, was absolutely shocked. My lady actually knows how to comb someone else's hair now. The youth entered the secular world originally to gather medicinal herbs. But he never expected to unexpectedly win the eldest miss's favor. The way the woman cared for him so meticulously left Luo Lin looking bewildered. Eldest miss usually goes to great lengths to avoid contact with the opposite sex. And now she is even personally making snacks in the kitchen. This is treatment even the old master did not get before he fell ill. Could it be that the eldest miss is in love? The man who can tame her has finally appeared. Incredible, a man capable of taming her has actually shown up. Oh my god, this is breaking news, huge news. This news is massive, simply incredible, breaking news. Unbelievable, this is the scoop of the century, massive news. The soul of gossip instantly ignited within her. Luo Lin was just about to ask something, but unfortunately, after locking eyes with Luo Yenji, she immediately shut up and covered her mouth. Luoling City was a bustling hub of trade and commerce. It was one of the wealthiest cities in the Mu prefecture. The night market was brilliantly lit, as bright as day. They soon arrived at a restaurant owned by the Luo clan Chamber of Commerce. Luo Yenji busily introduced the place to him. The dishes here are quite unique. It is a pity I did not bring you, junior brother, to try them before. So she decided to let Yun Qingqiu choose which place to go to himself. It was obvious which establishment Xiao Chu wanted to visit. He kept peering inside that particular one. Miu Yun looked toward a nearby pavilion with a hint of confusion. There, several women in revealing clothes and heavy makeup were seen. They were posing provocatively to attract customers. They kept calling out, "Master, won't you come in and have some fun?" Yun Qingqiu immediately grew anxious. Holy crap, senior sister, you can't just go around saying things like that. When was I ever looking over there? At that moment, a woman in heavy makeup nearby waved at Yun Qingqiu. Little rascal, do not tell me you have the heart of a thief but no guts. You have been staring long enough. Why do not you come in and play? Luo Yenji and Luo Lin stood quietly to the side. They wanted to see what he would actually do. Yun Qingqiu instantly held up his hand to stop her. He firmly told her that he would absolutely not go inside. Only Miu Yun was still peeking inside incessantly. She was curious about what kind of happiness they were talking about. Just then, a figure caught Luo Yenji's attention. Yun Qingqiu followed her gaze with a puzzled look. There was a commotion at the entrance of the restaurant. Two young men, reeking of alcohol, walked out. The women all scrambled to clear a path for them. They offered flattering smiles and generic pleasantries like safe travels. Please come again. Luo Yenji recognized those two scumbags at a single glance. Her face darkened as she spoke through gritted teeth. Lu Zhao, the alchemist who betrayed our Chamber of Commerce, and Xian Yangfu, the president of the Shanxi Chamber of Commerce, who has always targeted us. Those two despicable fellows actually teamed up, and those two suddenly stopped in their tracks. Looking drunk, they started walking this way. He was heard stammering. Miss Luo, long time no see. You bastard, is the old master of the Chamber of Commerce still in good health? You were nurtured for 10 years. You bastard, is the old master of the Chamber of Commerce still in good health? Lu Zhao, is your old master still in good health, you bastard? The Chamber of Commerce trained. Lu Zhao, is your old master still in good health? Luo Lin stood in front of the young miss, and could not help but curse him out. Lu Zhao, you bastard. The Chamber of Commerce nurtured you for 10 years, and you shamelessly defected to someone else. Beside them, Xian Yangfu continued. Hey, Steward Luo, you can't say that. A wise bird chooses a good tree to nest in. The Luo Chamber of Commerce has already fallen. You can't just stop others from leaving, can you? If they want to leave, they should just leave. The sooner they get lost, the better. Luo Lin pointed at the two angrily. Don't get too cocky. We have already found a much more skilled alchemist. Just you wait to get crushed at the alchemy convention. Lu Zhao scanned Luo Yanji and the others. Finally, his gaze landed on the only male, Yun Qingqiu. Is it that kid? She was the precious daughter of her clan. Yet, she was coveted by her family's own alchemist. Now, the woman's grandfather has fallen gravely ill. The alchemist seized the opportunity to force her into marriage. Because she refused, he colluded with other chambers of commerce to retaliate. Coincidentally, they ran into each other the day before the alchemy convention. The alchemist, Lu Zhao, deliberately came to provoke them. Luo Lin told him in a righteous and stern tone, "We do not need you anymore." Lu Zhao scrutinized Yun Qingqiu. He was so young. He lacked the noble air of an alchemist. His hands were fair and smooth, without the calluses from long hours of alchemy. This guy is supposed to replace me. Lu Zhao threw his head back and laughed. Interesting. Just randomly grabbing someone to participate. Luo Yanji, have you given up on yourself? Luo Yanji did not want to bother with them. She turned, wanting to leave with her companions. However, Qian Yongfu waved his hand. The guards behind him fanned out, blocking their path. Miss Luo, do not be in such a hurry. Since we have finally met, let us have a good chat. What is the rush to leave for? Qian Yongfu let out a drunken burp. He clapped his hands with a grin. Everyone, come and take a look. This is the alchemist that the great Miss Luo found. She wants to compete with this piece of trash. Tell me, is not that hilarious? The surrounding crowd also began to whisper among themselves. None of them had ever seen Yun Qingqiu before. Moreover, he was not even wearing an alchemist's robes or insignia. Nor could they sense any powerful spiritual energy from him. It seems the rumors about Lu Zhao trying to force a marriage, and then joining the Shanxi Chamber of Commerce for revenge after being rejected, are true. Lu Zhao said with a cold laugh. Oh, Miss Luo, you would rather find some pretty boy to keep up appearances than marry me. Fine. In that case, you can just wait for old Master Luo's death notice. Qian Yongfu added with a sneer. You still have a chance. Miss Luo, just go ahead and marry Grandmaster Lu. And while you are at it, let us help manage the Chamber of Commerce. Isn't that better than toughing it out? As he spoke, he gestured to the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, am I right or am I right? A large part of the crowd started jeering along. Most of them were saying things that looked down on the Luo Chamber of Commerce. Saying she is just a woman, trying to run a Chamber of Commerce. Saying she is just a woman, trying to run a Chamber of Commerce for her old man. Saying she is just a woman, trying to run a Chamber of Commerce. What a waste of effort. With all this effort, she might as well keep her old man company. What a waste of effort. With all this effort, she might as well keep her old man company. Don't waste your time. With all this effort, she might as well keep her old man company. She has no chance at the alchemy convention. Luo Yanji coldly watched the chaotic crowd. To think the Luo Chamber of Commerce would fall to a point where anyone could just step on it. To be humiliated like this in public. In her moment of grief, she felt a warmth in her palm. The young man stood shoulder to shoulder with her. He held her hand tightly. Senior sister, I am here. Those simple words made Luo Yanji's nose tingle. It is so nice to have someone by your side at a time like this. Yun Qingqiu glanced around. These guys are about to be finished, yet they still have to come out and be disgusting. The black market should already be making its moves in the shadows by now. At that moment, Yun Qingqiu tightly held Luo Yanji's hand, and all of this was witnessed by Lu Zhao. Normally, Luo Yanji would never let any man touch her. But now, despite her hand being held, she did not react at all. A pang of jealousy rose in his heart. Yun Qingqiu then spoke out loud. Everyone, if you are here to watch the Luo Chamber of Commerce become a laughingstock, I suggest you all disperse. Otherwise, when the time comes, you won't even get the chance to cry and beg for mercy. As he spoke, he raised his middle finger to everyone. The first place in the alchemy conference will undoubtedly belong to the Luo Chamber of Commerce. Starting tomorrow, the Luo Chamber of Commerce will also make a name for itself in Mu Prefecture. Finally, he revealed a benevolent smile. However, I am quite looking forward to seeing you all crying and kneeling before me. This young lady usually detests contact with the opposite sex, but now, being shy with her junior brother, she did not feel the slightest bit of aversion. And all of this was seen by the alchemist, who coveted her beauty. Naturally, Yun Qingqiu was not going to tolerate someone trying to steal his girl. And so, the once great Immortal Emperor raised his middle finger. He cursed out this entire mob of riffraff. The surroundings instantly erupted in an uproar. How dare a little brat like this run his mouth? Lu Zhao was also absolutely furious. He stammered. How dare a nobody like you act so presumptuously? Seeing him like this, Yun Qingqiu mimicked Lu Zhao's tone. Presumptuous, presumptuous. So what if I am presumptuous, my dear son Lu Zhao? Lu Zhao was taken aback. Is my name something a little punk like you is worthy of saying? Yun Qingqiu smiled faintly. Can't a father call his little son's name? Lu Zhao was seething with rage. You little brat, you dare repeat my words. Yun Qingqiu made a bring-it-on gesture. Your father is teaching you how to speak. Can't I repeat myself? After all, I am the one who raised you from nothing. Lu Zhao was half dead from anger. He was a second-rank alchemist, for crying out loud. When had he ever been humiliated like this? After fuming for a long while, he could not help but lash out in frustration. You bastard, your father is my father. Hearing this, Yun Qingqiu was instantly amused. So, I guess I do not want to acknowledge this son, after all. Qian Yongfu, fearing Lu Zhao would die of anger, quickly pulled him back. The alchemist the Luo Chamber of Commerce found can only run his mouth. Miss Luo, you have terrible taste. But Luo Yanji paid his words no mind whatsoever. She could not help but show a hint of a smile on her face. This kid is really too wicked. And that smile of hers completely enraged Lu Zhao. He immediately ordered his guards to make a move. Kill this little brat in front of me. The guards all stood frozen in place. They were waiting for Qian Yongfu to give the command. And at this moment, his eyes were also wide with anger. What are you looking at me for? Do it. Nowadays, anyone can bully the Luo Chamber of Commerce. What is the big deal about roughing up one person? Luo Yanji was startled and quickly took out her spiritual tool, ready to help. Yun Qingqiu instantly blocked her way. A burst of spiritual power emanated from around him. Senior sister, did not you say you would leave everything to me today? He threw a punch. Those guards could not even touch the hem of his clothes. In an instant, they were sent flying. Lu Zhao and Qian Yongfu were so scared they stumbled backward. This kid is actually this fierce. Before they could even utter a warning, Yun Qingqiu appeared before them in a flash. He knocked Qian Yongfu down with a punch. Then with one hand, he grabbed Lu Zhao by the neck and lifted him up. Kid, What do you think you are doing? Let go, quickly. Yun Qingqiu squeezed slightly. Is my senior sister someone that trash like you is worthy of? Luo Yanji hurried over to stop him. Junior brother, you can't act recklessly in Luoling City. Please do not be impulsive. Yun Qingqiu glared at Lu Zhao. There is no point if I do not personally teach you what cruelty means. With that, he slammed him onto the ground. Lu Zhao lay on the floor, coughing nonstop. Yun Qingqiu turned away. Just you wait until tomorrow. Then he turned and left with Luo Yanji and the others. He was once the most powerful immortal emperor in the god realm. Yet now, he was refining pills for a mortal woman. This was all because the alchemist in her family wanted to forcibly take her for himself. The alchemy conference was one of the grandest events in Luoling City. The next morning, a large crowd had already gathered in the central square. But as soon as Yun Qingqiu entered, he was met with some trouble. Has the Luo family run out of people? Sending a wet behind-the-ears kid to fill the ranks. Yun Qingqiu was not amused. He immediately tossed the man into a nearby pond. The surrounding people's jaws dropped at his action. They instantly formed two lines, making way for him. Soon, he arrived at the Luo Chamber of Commerce's designated area. He looked around, but did not see his two senior sisters. Luo Lin told him embarrassedly, "Your younger senior sister was just jumping around too much. She ran off to the restroom with a bunch of sewing supplies. My young miss knows you like sweets. To make sure you are in top form. She stayed up all night yesterday making a huge batch. She went to bed late last night, so she might be a little late today." Luo Lin leaned closer to Yun Qingqiu and whispered, "The young miss has never been this nice to any guy before. The young miss has never been this nice to any guy before. So master, how about it? So master, how about it? The young miss has never been this nice to any guy before. She is a great catch. The young miss has never been this nice to any guy before. You should consider it, huh? You should consider it, huh? The young miss has never been this nice to any guy before. You should consider it, huh? So master, how about you consider it? So master, how about you consider it?" Yun Qingqiu nodded while eating the pastries. "Consider it. I have already made up my mind." Luo Lin, full of gossipy curiosity, asked, "So what is the decision? Could it be, are they finally getting together? Am I going to get some wedding candy?" Yun Qingqiu clenched his fist, his eyes determined. "I must have her." Luo Lin was also ecstatic, clapping her hands in approval. But before she could finish celebrating, Yun Qingqiu continued, "A pastry chef this good must be kept for myself. It would be a tragedy if someone else got to her first." Luo Lin was instantly speechless. What the heck? Just then, a figure caught her eye. The woman before them wore a vibrant red long dress. It perfectly accentuated her stunning curves. It was hard to look away. She also wore a red flower hairpin in her hair. It was the very one Yun Qingqiu had picked out for her when they were shopping together the other day. Her appearance instantly left Yun Qingqiu stunned. The gentle and intellectual girl had transformed into a charming and mature woman. Luo Lin could not help but be a little shocked. Wow, what a bewitching look. The young miss is not usually like this. Luoshen came and sat down beside Yun Qingqiu. She asked with a smile, "Are the pastries good?" Yun Qingqiu sat up straight. His gaze kept stealing glances at the beautiful legs beneath her dress. This leggy senior sister is terrifyingly gorgeous. Luoshen's carefully crafted look was specifically to match this large flower hairpin. And red is a lucky color, after all. Yun Qingqiu patted his chest. Victory is in the bag. Victory is in the bag. Yun Qingqiu patted his chest. Victory is in the bag. Senior sister, just wait and watch the show. Senior sister, just wait and watch the show. Victory is in the bag. Senior sister, just wait and watch the show. Victory is in the bag. Senior sister, just wait and watch the show. Luoshen's pretty face instantly blushed. She whispered in a voice only she could hear, "I have dressed up for my lord, awaiting his triumphant return." As the opening performance of the Alchemy Conference concluded, at the call of the conference organizer, the Alchemy Conference was about to begin. The alchemists began to descend from their resting pavilions. They walked onto the grand alchemy stage, watched by tens of thousands. Below the stage, many in the audience were cheering for their favorite alchemists. "Go Kai, you look beautiful today too. After you win the championship, you have to sing and dance for us." "Shut up, my big brother Lu Zhuang is the handsome one." Yun Qingqiu was cringing so hard he could die. His gaze shifted, casually scanning the area. Just in time he spotted Lu Zhao from last night's conflict. Lu Zhao was staring daggers in this direction. His face was a mask of pure fury. He planned to utterly crush him during the Alchemy Conference. The other alchemists were also giving Yun Qingqiu the cold shoulder. They felt his words from last night were far too arrogant. Of course, there was one more crucial point. Luoshen, the flower of Luoling City, was a prize every man wanted to claim. Yun Qingqiu was getting seriously annoyed by all the glares. He turned to Luoshen and made a finger heart gesture. Luoshen blushed and smiled. She playfully returned a finger heart of her own. The alchemists on the stage looked like they were about to lose their minds. Yun Qingqiu felt a wave of satisfaction. "You want to look down on me? I will just mess with your morale. Let us see who is tougher." However, one thing did catch his attention. Senior sister's expression seemed a bit off. What was with that shy blush? But in the next instant he felt as if he had forgotten something important. One is the strongest, battle-hardened Immortal Emperor. The other is a mere second-rank alchemist from a small chamber of commerce. There is really no comparison between the two, is there? In a pavilion near the plaza, the great figures of Luoling City sat in their high seats, looking down upon the Alchemy Conference. The city lord was the first to speak. "Everyone, who do you think has the best chance of winning this year's Alchemy Conference?" A bootlicker beside him took a couple of swigs from his flask. "From my observation, the most promising candidate this year is still the two-time champion, second-rank alchemist Ma Fei. This man is completely dedicated to the art of alchemy. Some time ago, he refined an exorcism pill that was close to the high-grade second rank. His skills must have improved even more since then." The city lord was delighted to hear this. After all, that Ma Fei was an alchemist under his command. But someone else nearby had a different opinion. He believed that while Ma Fei was strong, his victory this year was not a sure thing. "I have heard a formidable alchemist has also come from an outer city. His name is Lu Zhuang and he is quite impressive." Another Chamber of Commerce president chimed in. "And what about that? Kai something. I heard he became a second-rank alchemist right after coming of age. His talent is extraordinary." As these words were spoken, the smile on the city lord's face gradually faded. "Leopard, your black market has extensive sources of information. You must have gathered quite a bit of intel yourself. Who do you think has a shot at the title?" Li Baobao was taken aback for a moment. His mind could not help but drift to that young-looking supreme-level alchemist. That master has been secretly helping the Luo Chamber of Commerce, and he is so close with Luoshen. He is undoubtedly ready to fight for the girl. Li Baobao breathed out a puff of alcohol-laced air. Has anyone paid attention to that expert from the Luo Chamber of Commerce? The city lord was slightly stunned. After a moment's thought he asked, "Leopard, are you referring to that Lu Zhao?" But he was quickly shot down by the others. After all, the news that he would left the Luo family after his failed marriage proposal had already spread. Lu Zhao, as if he is worthy. Li Baobao chuckled to himself. In a little while, that guy probably won't even know what kind of idiot he has been turned into. His confidence suddenly skyrocketed. He declared to everyone that he was talking about that young alchemist, Yun Qingqiu. The various chamber presidents were first stunned. Then, they all burst into laughter. They all thought Li Baobao was completely joking. Qian Yongfu also sneered from the side. When it comes to fighting, that kid might be decent. But in alchemy, he's not even worthy of polishing Lu Zhao's shoes. Then he turned to the city lord again. He requested that after the Alchemy Conference was over, he be allowed to deal with him personally. He be allowed to deal with him personally. He be allowed to deal with him personally. The city lord did not see any harm in it, so he naturally agreed. Everyone present was eagerly waiting to carve up the Luo family's fortune. Only Li Baobao knew the truth. The plan Yun Qingqiu had ordered was already secretly in motion. I will find a chance to give the city lord a little something later. This bunch of idiots will be finished soon enough anyway. Keep gloating. Let us see how many more days you can keep that smile on your face. I bet those young prodigies will soon have their confidence so shattered they will start questioning their existence. I just wonder if, after this is all over, that master would be willing to condescend and leave me a way to contact him. If I could really latch onto someone that powerful, I would not mind being his loyal dog for the rest of my life. A grand immortal emperor looked down upon by a pipsqueak of an alchemist. He even wants to steal my woman. Last night's lesson was clearly not enough. Yun Qingqiu plans to spare his life. Let him truly experience what it means to be cruel. After a dragon dance, the firecrackers go off in unison. The alchemy convention officially begins. Next, the staff begin to introduce the alchemists one by one. Every time an alchemist stands up, a huge crowd of fans or perhaps paid cheerleaders rises to applaud, cheer, and build up the hype. Their slogans are also extremely loud. Kai Kai, oh Kai Kai, besides you, everyone else is just a rookie. He can sing, he can do alchemy, and he is not bad looking either. Whether it was intentional or not, on the organizer's part, Yun Qingqiu was scheduled to go last. By the time the announcer finished introducing everyone, Yun Qingqiu was already getting sleepy. He stood up, yawning. But the surrounding crowd did not seem to think much of him. They thought he was too arrogant. Amidst this chaotic atmosphere, Luo Yanji suddenly stood up. She definitely did not cheer, applaud, or shout slogans like those fangirls. She simply placed her hand over her chest, signifying that he was number one in her heart. Yun Qingqiu made a heart shape with his hands, signaling message received. The previously smug alchemists were instantly hit with a critical blow. Their self-perceived advantage was wiped out in an instant. Yun Qingqiu shook his head helplessly. Why bother? You just got schooled and you are still giving me that look. Haven't had enough of our public display of affection, have you? Even the host's mouth twitched for a good while. Before he started the next event, the drawing of lots. According to the rules, the contestant who draws number one becomes the champion. They must then accept challenges in order from the contestants with subsequent numbers. The winner becomes the new champion. But what Yun Qingqiu did not know was, the staff had already been bribed to rig the draw. Yun Qingqiu was guaranteed to draw number one, and Lu Zhao would be number two. Yun Qingqiu looked at the number in his hand. He already understood what was going on. However, a slight smile played on his lips. Even if no one had tampered with it, he wanted to draw number one himself anyway. This is even better. None of you get to play anymore. After the lots were drawn, the sequence was announced. Yun Qingqiu's name was written up first. All the alchemists collectively looked at the notice board. This kid actually got number one. They all knew that the earlier you go, the bigger the disadvantage. This kid was definitely set up. Luo Yanji clenched her fists in anger. Out of 100 alchemists, Yun Qingqiu just happened to draw number one. How could there be such a coincidence? Luo Lin also stomped her foot in anger. This bunch of scoundrels must have used some dirty tricks. Even Mu Yun was extremely conflicted. She understood that the pressure of going first was immense. The formula Yun Qingqiu refines will be known to the alchemists who follow. That way, they will have time to prepare more complex pills. Luo Yanji watched the young man's figure intently. She just said softly, I believe in him. As for the others gloating, Yun Qingqiu was completely baffled. Do I really look that weak? Just because I look young and do not have much of a reputation. You can just decide I am a weakling based on that. These people are so simple-minded. They are bound to suffer for it in the future. He walked onto the alchemy stage with extreme composure. No need to wait for the future. Right now, as a senior, allow me to show you all some tough love. But Yun Qingqiu did not even notice. The real reason others looked down on him was actually because he had such a thick, lush head of long hair. Yun Qingqiu ignored the crowd completely. Then, under the gaze of 10,000 people, he pulled out a rusty medicinal cauldron that looked like a broken old pot. The alchemists could not help but burst into laughter. Is this guy a clown? He actually brought a pickle jar to compete in the Alchemy Grand Assembly. The Chamber of Commerce presidents up in the balcony were also doubling over with laughter. Ha ha ha, I finally get it now. This guy is an undercover agent. He is here to sabotage the Luo clan Chamber of Commerce. Li Baobao looked at the group with pure disdain. Go ahead, laugh while you still can. In a moment, you will all be crying. This man joined the assembly for the sake of his lady love. His goal is to humiliate that alchemist who is thirsting after her beauty. He is going to give him a taste of his own medicine. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he took out that rusty object, the medicinal cauldron that looked like a junk pot. He did not give a damn about their mockery. He just casually glanced at the auxiliary herbs on the side table. Then he pulled out the materials he needed from his storage ring. With a sharp command, The herb surged into the cauldron, driven by his spiritual power. Several experienced alchemists gasped in shock. Inkfruit skin, light condensed grass, rain spirit branches. Those are all high-tier medicinal ingredients. Does he really intend to refine high-level pills with that broken pot? An alchemist quietly approached the favorite to win, Ma Fei, and asked him for his thoughts. Ma Fei replied indifferently, "What else is there to see? I honestly can't tell if this kid is just stupid. That cauldron is practically scrap metal. It provides absolutely no amplification. He is overestimating himself. Just sit back and watch the show." Hearing Ma Fei say that, Lu Jiao was secretly gloating and could not be happier. But what he did not know was, this dilapidated cauldron was something Yun Qingqiu specially scavenged from the black market. It actually has a negative amplification effect. After testing, it was proven to drastically lower the quality of the pills. This way, he did not have to worry about the quality being too high to control. As the temperature inside the cauldron rose, the light condensed grass slowly decomposed into tiny dust particles. They flickered within the flames, emitting a beautiful glow. The judge alchemist's eyes sharpened. Light condensed grass is extremely fragile. It usually dissipates with even the slightest preheating. The luminescent properties are almost always destroyed. You almost never see this kind of glowing state. The more it glows, the better it shows the alchemist's fire control skills. But with this much luminescence, even the veteran alchemists in the city probably could not pull it off. The scarlet flames inside the furnace, entwined with the pale blue medicinal liquid refined from the ingredients. As time passed, the liquid became increasingly clear and pure. The crowd below was left in a daze. They could not understand what kind of terrifying refinement technique this was. They had never seen such a sight before. Yet Yun Qingqiu continued refining, completely unbothered. Under his manipulation, the flames were as obedient as a pampered pet. This was not just alchemy. It was pure art. Gradually, the mockery faded, and the insults ceased. Everyone's eyes were fixed on those two intertwining colors. Luo Yanji watched the brilliant colors with excitement. How is it? The refining is going very smoothly, is not it? Mu Yun was also mesmerized by the sight. This level of skill belongs to a rank 3 alchemist. No, wait. Maybe even higher. Under the gaze of the masses, the pill gradually took shape. A purple textured pill slowly appeared before everyone's eyes. The crowd could not stop buzzing with discussion. A purple medicine pill. A rank 2 superior grade healing pill. Wait, it is not a blood congealing pill. Several alchemists were a bit dazed. The herbs he chose should have been the materials for refining a rank 2 high-level blood congealing pill. But what came out in the end was actually a purple medicine pill. Lu Jiao gave a sinister smile. The purple pill is the lowest grade, second rank pill. Its difficulty is just a tiny bit higher than a first rank pill. To actually enter the competition with this kind of stuff. And here I thought he was all that with his grand entrance earlier. After all that fuss, he just refined this piece of junk. The audience was also in an uproar. What is this? I waited for so damn long just to see this. Amidst the chaos, Yun Qingqiu unhurriedly flipped his wrist. Another pill slowly rose from within the cauldron. It was a vibrant red, with a fragrance carrying the faint scent of blood. Upon smelling it, one's chi and blood flowed smoothly throughout the body. The master alchemists, watching from the side, were instantly horrified. Dual cauldron refinement, and it is a blood coagulation pill. The blood coagulation pill is already harder to refine than a typical third-rank pill. I am afraid this is enough to lock in first place. However, Yun Qingqiu himself did not seem to have such a strong desire to show off. It is just that his skills were simply too overpowered. The alchemists' faces all showed looks of utter devastation. Damn it. A single extremely difficult third-rank pill could have won the championship. But you went and refined an extra second-rank pill on top of that. Just how hard do you need to win to be satisfied? You can't just bully people like this. How can you pull off such a trick with that piece of junk cauldron? Are you telling us to just give up? The alchemist had deliberately rigged the competition to crush the Immortal Emperor. But now, he had thoroughly shot himself in the foot. The host also stood by the side, not knowing what to say. Normally, an alchemy conference might last for 3 days. But this time, it is about to end in 30 minutes. The judge was also at a loss. This kid not only crushed a group of alchemists, he also crushed this old alchemist in the process. Yun Qingqiu placed the pills on a jade plate and handed them to the host. The pills are refined. Go ahead and inspect them. The host took the jade plate. With this aroma and effect, does it even need inspection? He swallowed and said through gritted teeth, "My final personal score is 10 points. The other judges also gave a perfect score of 10 points respectively. The audience, still reeling, began to whisper amongst themselves. He got 10 points right from the start. He got 10 points right from the start. Right at the beginning. He got 10 points right from the start. Wow, right at the beginning. Wow, right at the beginning. He got 10 points. Whoa, with this score. How are the later alchemists supposed to break it? 10 points. Is not that equivalent to winning the championship right away? 10 points. Is not that an instant win? How can the other alchemists even compete? Under the host's reluctant gaze, Yun Qingqiu quickly put away the 2 pills. Then with a smile, he made a small heart gesture towards Luo Yenji below the stage. Luo Yenji, truly happy, blushed and nodded to show she got the message. Luo Yenji, blushing happily, nodded to acknowledge the complete domination. Luo Yenji, blushing happily, nodded to show she received it. Her excitement was hard to put into words. He did it, and it was a complete and utter domination in the truest sense. It left the group of alchemists who followed with absolutely no power to fight back. Junior brother is just too cool. The host quickly brought out a banner with 10 points written on it. He placed it on the alchemy station. At this moment, Yun Qingqiu was the champion to beat. Everyone else had become challengers. Lu Jiao was on the verge of a breakdown. To crush this person in public, he had specifically rigged the draw. He had hoped to be the second one on stage and win with overwhelming force. But looking at it now, he had become the first one to be crushed instead. Right after, the host announced the second contestant, Lu Jiao. He was instantly stunned. How the hell am I supposed to go up there? I am going to get completely annihilated. Are not I? The moment he goes up, he, Lu Jiao, will be the first one to lose face. A hand suddenly clapped him on the shoulder. Brother Lu, it is your turn. Go on. Forget about the championship. Just show them what we are made of. Lu Jiao looked as if all life had been drained from him. Show them what we are made of, my foot. This guy clearly just wants to see me make a fool of myself. Lu Jiao gritted his teeth, his whole body trembling. He originally thought he was just dealing with a common nobody. Who would have thought he would be pushed to such an extent? Lu Jiao collapsed onto the ground, defeated. With his head down, he said helplessly, I forfeit. As soon as he said this, everyone below the stage was shocked. The crowd below erupted in boos. The host sighed helplessly. Then he looked at the other alchemists, calling for the 3rd place. The 3rd place alchemist bowed to everyone. I have a family matter to attend to, so I must take my leave. Well, since someone else has already forfeited and lost face, I am not worried. The host continued to call out, next. A chorus of forfeitures followed one after another. Furious, the host threw the list of names straight onto the ground. He asked angrily, anyone who wants to go, just tell me directly. The alchemists looked at each other, their faces etched with bitterness. No one wanted to be the first one to go up and be humiliated. Li Baobao, on the other hand, was not surprised at all. As expected, this master shows no mercy. In the end, the host could only walk onto the stage helplessly. He announced to everyone that all remaining contestants had forfeited. Therefore, the champion of this alchemy convention is the alchemist from the Luo Chamber of Commerce, Yun Qingqiu. Yun Qingqiu chuckled as he accepted the cauldron and raised it above his head. At that moment, celebratory cannons went off. Confetti fluttered down like flower petals. Countless young women who had lost their way in life now had stars in their eyes. They gazed adoringly at Yun Qingqiu on the alchemy stage. Innumerable girls waved banners and screamed their hearts out. The Yun fans started waving their arms and chanting. Waving their arms and chanting. Young Master Qingqiu is invincible. We are your loyal fans for life. Handsome, charming, and a master alchemist. We are all your little Yun bows. The other alchemists were dealt a heavy blow. Not only were they crushed, but their hard-earned fans were gone just like that. Yun Qingqiu was quite startled by the screaming fangirls below the stage. He had seen his fair share of great storms and waves, but this was a first. But he had ultimately underestimated the power of his fangirls. They actually started a frantic chase, demanding autographs, hugs, and other activities. He hurriedly grabbed Luo Yenji and they sprinted away. They ran the entire length of the street. Finally, they hid inside an abandoned water tank in a small alley. Yun Qingqiu looked at the various lipstick marks left on his clothes. He never would have thought the aftermath of winning would be so tragic. These were the clothes Xiaoya sewed for me by hand. How am I going to explain this when I get back? As expected, the strongest Immortal Emperor won the alchemy convention, but unexpectedly, he attracted a horde of crazed fangirls. The two had no choice but to hide inside a water tank. Yun Qingqiu looked at himself covered in lipstick stains. He could not help but lament how tragic the aftermath of his victory was. Inside this cramped water tank, the two were pressed tightly together. Two long, slender legs were bent on either side of Yun Qingqiu. Oh my god. The position was quite seductive and intimate. Yun Qingqiu gulped. Because the two were so close, he had absolutely no idea where to put his eyes. It was the same for Luo Yenji. It was the first time she had ever been this close to a man. Her heart could not help but start racing. Luo Yenji hastily turned her head, averting her gaze, but she happened to spot a yellow-covered scroll. It had slipped out from Yun Qingqiu's robes. As the scroll slowly fell to the ground, it conveniently flipped open to a rather Stimulating illustration. Luoyangji was first taken aback. Then, her breathing started to become erratic. A lone man and woman squeezed together in such a tiny space. The atmosphere grew incredibly heated. Her breathing became more and more rapid. Her beautiful, watery eyes were fixed intently on Yun Qingqiu. Her mind suddenly went blank. She unconsciously closed her eyes and slowly leaned in. Yun Qingqiu was also in a bit of a panic. What is this? It is my first time in this situation too. What should I do? At this critical moment, a rough shout suddenly came from outside. I just saw them stop here, search quickly. Hearing the voice, Luoyangji hastily stopped her attempt to kiss him. She warily held onto the water tank, her mind racing to figure out what to do. In that instant, spiritual energy erupted from Luoyangji's body, and her clothes billowed up. Yun Qingqiu's male instincts made his gaze shift downwards. He only felt a wave of dizziness in his head. Ah, I am dead again. The moment Luoyangji's spiritual power erupted, it shattered the water tank into a million pieces. The searching crowd immediately focused their attention on them. The next second, Luoyangji grabbed Yun Qingqiu, leapt up and was about to flee. Dozens of sharp blade glints attacked in succession. Luoyangji could not dodge in time. She could only use her spiritual energy to block them. Soon, explosive sparks of spiritual power erupted in the air. Just as they were about to leave, another 7 or 8 cultivators leapt onto the rooftops to attack. Qian Yongfu stood in the alley, looking up at the two of them. Lady Luo, you two are quite the runners. Luoyangji's beautiful eyes scanned the area coldly. She was only at the middle stage of foundation establishment, and her junior brother was still at the qi refining stage. The situation was dire. Helpless, she had no choice but to jump down with her junior brother. Qian Yongfu fanned himself with a paper fan, chuckling as he walked over. I never thought you would actually find a master to help you. But my gains this time are not too shabby either. Not only did I get the #1 beauty of Luoling City, but I also get a powerful alchemist as a sidekick. Seeing this, Lu Jiao also took a step forward, feeling an unparalleled sense of glee in his heart. So what if he won the championship? So what if he single-handedly defeated a group of alchemists? In the end, did not he still fall into my hands? He slowly approached Luoyangji. In the end, you still belong to me. But suddenly, he stopped. His finger trembled as he pointed at the two of them, looking at their disheveled clothes. His mind could not help but wander to dirty thoughts. You two were actually getting it on in a water vat. As his gaze shifted downwards, on the ground was a famous yellow-covered novel, Kissing Senior Sister. Damn it, you two even used a bestseller to spice things up. You could say that his heart had just taken a critical hit of 10,000 points. Luoyangji said unhurriedly, Junior brother, did you crush him too hard in the alchemy competition? Why is he acting like such a sore loser? Meanwhile, Yun Qingqiu tugged at the hem of Luoyangji's skirt, helping to cover her long legs. Lu Jiao was so angry he was about to cry. Are you seriously touching her leg right in front of me? President, shall we make a move? Qian Yongfu clapped his hands. Delays can cause trouble. It is better to act sooner rather than later, to be on the safe side. He had specifically prepared other reinforcements this time. As he spoke, dozens of figures dressed in black, masked cultivators, descended from the rooftops. However, from their attire, one could tell they were all from the black market. The alchemist, humiliated at the tournament, was unwilling to let it go. So he specifically called in people from the black market. He wanted to teach them a lesson behind the scenes. Seeing those people arrive, Qian Yongfu quickly made way for them. Then a smug look appeared on his face. See this, now you can give up, right? Miss Luo, you should be well aware of the black market's power. Luoyangji bit her lip. This guy actually managed to get the black market to back him up. I am afraid there is really no escape this time. He spoke to Li Baobao with great confidence. Brother Baozi, please make your move. You will be handsomely rewarded afterward. However, Li Baobao paid him no mind. He was seen taking a few quick steps to get in front of Yun Qingqiu. Then he dropped heavily to one knee. This humble one was late. I hope Master will forgive me. This kind of small fry is not worthy of you lifting a finger, Master. I will deal with them right now. Qian Yongfu was instantly dumbfounded. The big shot from the black market knelt before that Yun Qingqiu. What the hell is this? He simply could not comprehend the scene before him. Amidst his shock and confusion, the men he brought were surrounded by the black market cultivators. But no matter how hard he tried to explain, he could not stop the series of miserable screams coming from the alley. In a short while, Qian Yongfu and his men were already beaten black and blue. Moreover, Li Baobao bowed and begged to escort them back. Yun Qingqiu did not refuse. It was just that Luoyangji found the scene before her a bit baffling. What on earth is going on? Coincidentally, as they returned to the Luo Chamber of Commerce, a servant came running out of the courtyard in a hurry. This is bad. The young Mrs.'s condition is getting worse. I have already summoned a famous doctor, but it will take some time for him to arrive. Luoyangji was startled by the news. Her entire body suddenly swayed, on the verge of collapsing. What happened? Didn't it stabilize a little? She then immediately sought out Yun Qingqiu to ask for the flame spirit fruit. Feeling uneasy, Yun Qingqiu insisted on going with her. After all, as an alchemist himself, he knew a thing or two about medicine. Luo Yunji hesitated slightly, but grandfather's illness is too critical. I am afraid. Before she could finish, Yun Qingqiu pulled her into his arms. Don't be afraid. I am here. Luo Yanji's eyes instantly welled up with tears. To her, this shoulder was the most reliable support she could ask for. Yun Qingqiu, however, had an indescribably strange feeling. Who knows, maybe one day your grandfather will become my grandfather too. The two had just arrived in front of the room. They felt a chilling aura seeping out. On the bed lay an old man, looking frail and ancient. He suddenly sat up, coughing uncontrollably. Yun Qingqiu observed him carefully for a moment. From the surrounding frost, he could feel a dense life force. It seems this old man is not suffering from some hidden injury, but grandfather is actually a feathered spirit beast. Luo Yanji rushed to his side to give him medicine. The old man raised a hand to stop her. It is no use. The cold poison has invaded my sea of qi. My time is up. It should be today. Luo Yanji fought back her tears. If that is the case, she would return to the Luo God Palace to ask her father for help. The old man told her with a calm expression. This is the fate of the Frost Sparrow clan. It is not so easy to escape. Overcome with grief, Luo Yanji sobbed. There is no incurable poison in this world. Just tell me. I will definitely find a way. The old man's expression turned grave. This kind of cold poison can probably only be cured by the one from the boundless ice flame territory. The feather of the azure flame, vermilion bird. Hearing azure flame vermilion bird, Yun Qingqiu and Luo Yanji were both stunned. A spirit beast of that level. She was not even qualified to approach it. At the mention of the azure flame vermilion bird, a deep sense of awe appeared on the old man's face. Legend has it that the strongest among the azure flame vermilion birds earns the title of Shu. Legend has it that the strongest among the azure flame vermilion birds earns the title of Shu. Its majestic presence is comparable to dark clouds blanketing the sky. Its majestic presence is comparable to dark clouds blanketing the sky. Its majestic presence is comparable to dark clouds blanketing the sky. Its majestic presence is comparable to dark clouds blanketing the sky. The azure flame vermilion bird, Lord Shulan, has an extraordinary aura. Even the sacred artifacts of legend cannot compare. The corner of Yun Qingqiu's mouth twitched. What is this about Shulan begging him for a ride on its back? Even when it was angry, it just hissed like a kitten. And then, with just one pat on the head, it would wag its tail and snuggle into his arms. Yun Qingqiu was silent. He seemed to understand why the feathered race had not declined in the last 10,000 years. The old man continued. An ordinary cultivator might never see such a spirit beast in their entire life. Perhaps only the Wubian Pavilion is qualified to interact with it. Luo Yanji remained silent. Wubian Pavilion is the #1 sect in the cultivation world. Is there really no other way? Yun Qingqiu thought for a moment. He is my senior sister's grandfather, after all. Well then, I guess I will give him a little boost. Yun Qingqiu scratched his head. That feather. I think I have one. The old man's cold poison was reaching its final, fatal stage. He needed the feather of the azure flame, vermilion bird, to be saved. Considering that this man would one day be his grandfather, too, Yun Qingqiu decided to take out the vermilion bird's feather. As soon as he said that, both of them snapped their heads to look at him. They could not believe what they had just heard. You guys wait for me a second. Saying that, Yun Qingqiu pushed the door open and walked out. The spiritual power within the vermilion bird's feather was too wild. If he were to take it out and activate it right in front of them, forget the old man, even the entire Luoling city could be burned to ashes. After Yun Qingqiu plucked the feather, he quickly took out a small object and began to work on it. The feather sizzled in his hand. In a short while, a feather with a pendant was formed. Immediately after, he used his spiritual power to infuse and age it, making it look like an ancient family heirloom. Luo Yanji knelt anxiously by the bed, muttering prayers, begging for her grandfather to be okay. But the old man himself did not hold out much hope. How noble is the azure flame vermilion bird. They cherish their feathers beyond all else, viewing them as a sacred symbol of their clan. How could they possibly give a feather away so easily? He figured the young lad must have been mistaken. Luo Yanji's entire body trembled uncontrollably. She did not know how to respond. Tears streamed down her face without stopping. Her grandfather placed his hand on hers and patted it twice. Then he slowly began to reminisce about her childhood. Luo Yanji forced a bitter smile. She could see the chilling aura growing stronger and stronger. The old man voiced his one and only regret. It is a shame I won't get to see you get married, and I won't be able to help you choose a husband. I truly hope someone will be there to take good care of you. Just then, the door was suddenly pushed open. Yun Qingqiu ran in, holding a well-decorated pendant. He claimed it was his family heirloom. His ancestors ancestors said the attached feather belongs to an azure flame vermilion bird. He said he did not know if it was real or not. As a fellow avian spirit beast, the old man could naturally sense it, the lingering majesty and nobility of a high-level avian spirit beast. He immediately trembled, his eyes bulging. He coughed up a mouthful of old blood on the spot. Even its lingering aura is this powerful. It really is a flame feather from an azure flame vermilion bird. Yun Qingqiu deliberately feigned ignorance. Can this be used? The old man's shock was written all over his face. The old man's shock was written all over his face. This was something he had only dreamed of obtaining. This was something he had only dreamed of obtaining. And now, it had appeared so easily right before his eyes. And now, it had appeared so easily right before his eyes. And now, it had appeared so easily right before his eyes. At this moment, perhaps only holy crap could describe his complex feelings. At this moment, perhaps only holy crap could describe his complex feelings. Then Yun Qingqiu gave the pendant to the stunned Luo Yenji. Luo Yenji blinked. She too had an adorable, dumbfounded look, with her mouth agape. Luo Yenji then held it out to her grandfather with both hands for him to inspect. The old man took the feather with trembling hands. The treasure his clan had longed for was now in his grasp, just like that. He was so moved, he was on the verge of tears. As he took the feather, a storm of flames swirled out from the old man's hands, expanding outward. The temperature in the room suddenly skyrocketed. The freezing cold aura was devoured in an instant. An excited cry suddenly broke through the room and shot towards the heavens. Seeing this, Yun Qingqiu immediately pulled Luo Yenji back to take cover. A barrier quickly formed, enveloping the entire building. The old man had found his salvation. Overjoyed, Luo Yenji cried a river of tears. She hugged Yun Qingqiu and sobbed continuously. Yun Qingqiu patted Luo Yenji's shoulder, comforting her softly. "Senior sister, is not it a good thing he is saved? Why are you crying again?" Luo Yenji buried her head in Yun Qingqiu's shoulder. She was also puzzled. Why did she lose all her grace and composure in front of her junior brother? She had completely turned into a little child. Yun Qingqiu gently caressed her cheek with his hand. There, my dear. Don't cry, do not cry." Luo Yenji's expression was incredibly complicated. You have to remember, she was the senior sister of Qingyu Peak, the head of the Chamber of Commerce. No matter how you put it, she was a capable and independent woman. But for some reason, in front of him, she felt she could let go of all her burdens and release her emotions as she pleased. Luo Yenji suddenly pinched his cheek. "I am older than you. How can you call me my dear? It is so embarrassing." Yun Qingqiu smiled and asked her, "Then what should I call you?" Luo Yenji glanced at the floor, slightly shy. "Just call me Yenji. It is simple, intimate, and not so cheesy. Just call me Yenji. Just call me Yenji. It is simple and intimate." Yun Qingqiu's eyes widened. Yenji, the senior sister, immediately nodded shyly.